San Quentin News is the leading source of information on rehabilitation, public safety, and social justice. Real voices from the inside.
How you doing? My name is Steve Brooks. We're here at San Quentin State Prison. I'm the editor at San Quentin News, and we're commemorating Victims Awareness Week. This is the first time in San Quentin News history where we've invited a victims' rights organization inside to commemorate this week with criminal offenders. We've invited the Men Collaborative with Miguel Quesada, and we've invited Tanish Hollins of the Californians of Alliance of Safety and Justice. This is the first time this event is taking place. We thank you for coming inside to take a look at this event. Thank you.
It's my first time leading a parade.
Smile, you guys. You guys should be old comics. You guys should be smiling. You guys ain't
All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. So today we want to recognize Victims Awareness. This is very important and impactful to me, for the administration, for San Quentin, to give back to the society out there that is impacted by crimes that occur. And we want to make sure that we recognize them, honor them, support them, reflect, obviously, is a key aspect of it. And for the population to just open up your minds, your hearts, your souls. Think about your loved ones out there and impacts they might have had, and reflect that as a society as a whole.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you right now. We want to thank you for the opportunity to come and to share and to learn, Father God, and just to see the goodness of what you've done.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Malik Yawmuddin.
My name is Miguel Quesada. I'm the co-founder and co-director of Men Collaborative. We facilitate victim offender dialogues throughout California prisons. So we facilitate that process for both the survivor and both the person that's responsible for harm that's incarcerated at the time.
My name is Ebony Antoine. I am the executive director and founder of Broken by Violence. I'm here today for National Crime Victim Rights Week. I'm here because I'm a survivor. In 2010, I lost my husband to gun violence. This murder happened in my home in front of me and my children. And out of the pain that was birthed from his loss, I created an organization called Broken by Violence.
My name is Tanish Hollins. I'm the Executive Director of Californians for Safety and Justice and the State Director of Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice. I'm here today because I wholeheartedly believe that healing is the way to keep all of our communities safe and to repair the harm that's been done. And I'm extremely honored and very proud of the work that's taking place here today with this Victims Awareness Vigil.
Journey has taken me. Sometimes it goes, a few steps forward and then 5 steps back and then a few steps forward again and then 10 steps back. And it's just this sort of roller coaster of healing. But 9 years after I was raped in that parking lot, the man was caught. And it suddenly occurred to me, I realized that in all those years, I hadn't thought of him as a human being. I always thought that this force of destruction came into my life and I just lived with the aftermath. I sort of thought that I dealt with my trauma in the same way that someone who experienced an earthquake or a tsunami or some natural force of destruction experiences their trauma. I basically had this force of destruction come into my life and then I dealt with the aftermath. I didn't think of him as a person. And all of a sudden he was caught and I realized this is a person. This is a man, this is a human being, and I wanted to see him as a human being. It was important to me.
So I moved here from Boston because my 16-year-old son, when he was 16, this was 2007, he was shot 5 times and his friend was shot and killed that day. So they were walking to the store and someone was trying to rob them and they shot him and his friend died. So that left my son with a lot of physical disabilities and mentally disabilities. He was in a wheelchair for a long time, and then through rehab, he started walking again. So that was a lot for me because I thought my son was gonna die, but he survived. And so what better to do is to move away from the violence because I was becoming a victim to society. You know, drugs and alcohol. I had to get myself up out of that situation before I ended up, you know, dead. So I moved to Mill Valley. And I came with my daughter, Ronnie. She was 14, and my son, Nicholas, he was 2 years old. And I started all over. I came here with 2 suitcases filled with clothes and a dream to start all over. And I did that, you know, as hard as it was. Went into a shelter, got my own place, got a job. My kids went to school. I was here for 6 years. And then unfortunately, my daughter ended up getting shot and killed. So on that day, December 3rd, she had called me and she was in Richmond, California. And remember, we were living here in Mill Valley. And she was in Richmond, she called me and she said, "Mom, let's talk about Christmas. Christmas is coming up. What are we gonna do for the kids? And I'll take care of my little brother." And then at the end of our conversation, she said, "I'll be home in a little while. So I love you and I'll see you in a few." And then like 3 hours later, I got a phone call from one of her friends that said, "Ronnie's been shot. You need to come to Richmond." And I said, "No, I just got off the phone with her." So of course I called her phone and she didn't answer. And as soon as I got to Richmond, she had already died. She was a victim of a drive-by shooting. She was in the passenger seat of her friend's car and someone was on the freeway and they were driving by and they weren't aiming for her, but she was the only one that got shot and killed that day. And of course I was devastated. You know, I did not move here to California for that. You know, so I had to start all over. I had to pick myself up. And I had to live for my other 2 children. And I actually take my pain and turn it into a purpose. And what I did is I went to school and I graduated and I studied for public policy. And I ran for city council last year. And I was up against 3 people. Yeah, I did that. I had to take my pain and turn it into a purpose. And I ran for city council of Novato, and I came in 2nd place. I didn't win, but I did win in all areas of my life because I got up and I did that, you know? So I want everyone to understand, like, if I can do this and I can get up every day and carry this pain in my heart, I want you guys to know that you can heal too, okay? And thank you, and justice for Ronique, and long live Damon. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lonnie Morris, and I'm the founder and president of No More Tears. We're a crime and prevention organization, and we do restorative justice healing circles. I came to San Quentin today because it's Victim Awareness Week, and they invited me to be one of the speakers at this event. And I thought it was really important to come out and support survivors and victims of violence and crime because many of us, including myself, were perpetrators of victims of violence and crime. And our organization is really about the business of healing everyone, the survivors and the former perpetrators of victims of violence and crime. That's why I'm here today, and I'm hoping something I said and us being out here and passing out flyers and showing our support for the men and the survivors of violence will help.
Why do you think it was important for you to come and commemorate Victim Awareness Week here at San Quentin?
It is extremely important because I've been a victim on so many levels, from childhood to adulthood. I've made myself victim many times without anyone's help. And I'm also an extreme perpetrator of violence and being victimizing people. I've been to prison. I've been arrested 19 times, convicted 16, been to prison 4. I did a life sentence. I was actually sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. And I was commuted in 2019. I served 26 years. And I didn't, even all the way up to the end of my sentence, I was kind of like in and out on who I was until I realized the harm I caused. You know, I never would have even changed if I didn't one day realize the harm I caused. I always focused on the harm that was done to me. Like, that I was the victim, I was the victim. And the day I woke up and realized that I am no longer a victim, I have made many victims in my wake, that's when I changed.
Everything you do here matters. Everything you do here counts. Everything you do here is going to set a vibration and set a tone for a future generation, even if you can't touch them right now. So I'm here as a reminder that you have connections to the outside. And even if you're not being embraced by them, they still need you to commit. They still need you to commit to your healing. They still need you to process what happened to you, whether it was righteous or unrighteous that brought you into this place. Maybe you didn't deserve it. But whatever the circumstances were that we're here, what are you doing to make amends with yourself? Because that will heal the next generation and the generation after. The work that I do is to create opportunities for that healing. The work that I do is to create opportunities for that kind of vulnerability. For people to talk about what hurt them instead of crying them tears through a bullet or waiting until they're behind a cell with generations of their bloodline around them. Our future depends on what happens in this space right now and every other space like this across the country. This may be the worst environment, maybe not San Quentin, but this may be the worst circumstance to have to do this work under. But I appreciate and I respect and I honor every one of you who are calling yourself to that charge. And I don't want it to be lost on you or forget how valued and how needed and how loved you are by people who know you and who don't know you. We are all dependent on you.
Okay, once again, my name is Steve Brooks. I'm from the San Quentin News, the editor at San Quentin News. We're inside San Quentin State Prison at commemorating Victim Awareness Week with the Men Collaborative, Broken by Violence, and Survivors of Alliance for Safety and Justice. Thank you for watching.